Well, let me say good midday to you, one and all. We are hoping and praying that you are enjoying this prelude to what is on the horizon. Um, we look back at some of the devastation that has happened in the midsection of the country, the South, and we feel that we're so grateful that it didn't hit us. Well, I hate to tell you this, but we do have some overwhelmingly severe weather coming. Christine, how are you? Jaleesa, good afternoon. You know what? Good midday to you. And so I wanted to get on here. Tamika, bless you. Good midday. And let you know to be ready. Um, and I'm just going to say it for the Youngstown, Warren area. You do know that um, the susceptibility to power outages are overwhelmingly great when the sun is shining. So I want you to know that there's some different weather coming. Cecile Doe, Stephanie, bless you for being here with us. Please share, please share, please share, please share. And my suggestion to you, Barbara, is to make sure that you know where the safe space is in your home. Linda, bless you for being here, dear. And Debbie, thank you for being here. Um, I'm saying this with all sincerity because if you're in an apartment, you do not need to be near windows. You don't need to be near outer walls. You need to be as close to the inside walls as you possibly can. Okay, Linda, how are you, Chaplain Hearns? For those of you who own homes that have basements, you need to be prepared. Sister Thomas, how are you? The last check that I had, Minister Sarah, is we are going to be hit with an approximate Torcon 3. Lady Bowling, bless you for being here with us. And so the um, probability for severe weather is on the way. As a matter of fact, the last good midday, Denise. The last uh, observation that I had, the storms were supposed to be like 5 hours apart. Now that window is closing. Valerie, how are you? Billy, bless you, my friend, for being here on our midday snapshot. And so all I'm saying, and again, yes, Christine, charge your cell phones, charge your devices. Um, if you're like me, I have battery backups for just about everything. Marcia Walker. And again, Minister Marcia, again, I'm not saying anything traumatic is going to happen, but the possibility of a category 3 tornado exists. It is going to begin around about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and it's probably going to continue off and on until 1 o'clock in the morning. And the only thing I'm trying to do, Nina, bless you, dear, is to get this information out to you so that you can be prepared. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate that. We try. Um, we try. We try to do what singing shepherds do without losing our minds. And so I'm getting this out here at the front. Um, and I pray that I remember to do it at the end. This is not just for Ohio, Stephanie. It is for Ohio and a large portion of Western Pennsylvania. Good midday, Carletta. And so I want you to know, and let me go over this again. We'll take a few minutes to deal with this. Jemison, bless you. If you live in the Youngstown, Warren area, thank you, Jeanette, for letting it be known that all is well in our media ministry, and that we are rolling and popping. Elder James Mansell, Elder LMA, bless you. Thea, bless you. So let me go over this again. This is the quiet before the storm. We have been blessed to have avoided some of the things that have happened in the midsection of the country and the southern um, sections. The singing shepherd sang, thank you so much. We appreciate that. But if you live in an apartment, okay, good, good. If you live in an apartment and the storm happens or you hear the sirens go off, do not go to your outer walls. You make sure that you go to the wall. Okay, Darlene, bless you for being here. Minister Faye, um, which is closest to the door that you enter and exit if your hallway is in the middle of your building. If you have an external door, you want to make sure that you are as far away from windows as you can possibly be, and that is overwhelmingly important. For those of you who live in homes, you just make sure that you're able to get to your basement in case it happens. Again, I'm not saying it is, but when they popped up with a Torcon 3, and you have to remember, a 4 devastated and destroyed many cities, and a 3 has that capability. It is the entire state of Ohio and about a third of Western Pennsylvania. So, all I want to say to you is you need to be prepared. And it's moving this way. And if your soul is not anchored in Jesus, you will surely drift away. Okay. um, and I'm gonna say this um, because I think this needs to be said in the midst of power outages. Uh, you need to have some non-perishable items because lately, even before a storm of this magnitude showed up, power goes out in many places. Lisa, thank you for being here with us. And so, I would have an ice chest and put some things in there. Um, I would make sure that you have some flashlights with extra batteries that work. And here's the blessing. I hope you hear what I'm saying. It's going to be close to 80 degrees today, which means you won't need your furnaces. Oh, you can't tell me God ain't good. Mary, bless you. And so, and I know somebody saying, "Oh, it'll pass by. Oh, it'll do." But what if what if the unexpected happens? We already had minimal damage done to the church with the last situations that happened, and I wasn't going to get that stuff repaired until after this storm has passed, so that whatever work that needs to be done. Um, Let me ask the mayor if groceries won't do you no good in a refrigerator. You need non-perishable items. And all I'm trying to do is to prepare you in case, in case. I've watched the storms, and I'm gonna get started. I watched the storms, the devastation that has happened. Lavonda, bless you. And so, yes, I care about the people of God. I care for the members of Union. I care for those who follow us, and I try to the very best of my ability, to do that. Crackers and water. Listen, listen. Water don't never go bad. You do what you need to do. If you've got some meat or whatever the case may be, I'll go right ahead. And again, I'm dealing with the issues of power outages. Power goes out in Youngstown if a bird lands on the wire. So you can imagine what's going to happen when something serious happens. And that's Youngstown and Warren. That's also Columbiana County. And see, Thea, that's the thing. They haven't even finished the cleanup from the last thing, and then there's another one coming. Okay, Deborah, thank you for being here. Okay. Okay. And I'm telling you, I'm just trying to get you prepared. And I'm not exempt because it's the entire state of Ohio. Okay. Pee Wee, bless you. Um, Ramen noodles, there you go. Potted meat, Vienna sausage, plenty of water. Okay, now you need plenty of water. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. There are tons of roads that are still closed in the Youngstown Warren area. They're trying to clean it up, and there's more happening. Okay. See what I'm saying, Jaleesa? Jaleesa is confirmed. People are calling downtown like wildfire. When you gonna get this? When you gonna get this? When? And there's another storm coming. So, someone died, and I'm really eating up too much time with this. Someone died in Trumbull County because a tree fell on the house and killed a teenager. It's not a time for you to be in your cars running around. It's not a time for you. And we know that there are some people, you'll catch what I'm saying in a minute, that it don't make them no difference. They've weathered the storm before. This could be their last storm. You got to deal with the issue of water, flooding, all of these things. All right. Especially when you live in a city where the grid is ancient. Okay. All right. Bless you, Cora, for being here. So listen, can I get started? I want to get started. Trinette, bless you for being here. Good midday to you as well. I always start with the fundamental basic question. When the Lord looks at you, what questions does he ask himself? I've actually got 5. For those of you that's been going, that's all you have is 2? Today, I've got 5. Now, I'm not going to get to all 5 of them today. I pray that I can get through today's and then tomorrow. And I do plan on having midweek worship at 6:30 tonight. I do plan on doing that. William, bless you for being here. Okay. One at a time. Yes, ma'am. One at a time. Let me get this out here real quick. I want to thank God for everybody who showed up to New Bethel, whether you came in person or whether you viewed virtually. We appreciate your support more than you'll ever know. So let's talk about this for just a moment. I believe the Lord asks this question from time to time. Why do you start out so good and then get distracted? Why do you start out so good and then get distracted? Think about this for just a moment. Everybody under the sound of my voice in the first ventures with the Lord, the first moves of God, the first time that we actually really engaged God like never before. We had a lot of fervor. We had a lot of zeal. We had a lot of thank you so much. We had a lot of yeah, that's the first question. And so we start out good. We're a house of fire. We're on fire. And then as situations happen, and we can also go back to the parable that Jesus gave us of the sower. And many times it is dependent upon the soil the seed hits. Woo. And so when we look at, in case you want to know where I'm at, Matthew chapter 14, and I'm starting at the 28th verse. Matthew chapter 14, verse 28, because we can all start out just overwhelmingly fantastic until distractions show up. He shows up, she shows up, they show up, it shows up. And the next thing you know, bills show up, tragedy shows up, trauma shows up. And then the next thing you know, we don't know what we're gonna do. Did it take you out already, Cora? Think about. I want us to think about this because, hey, Shirley, how are you? Good to have you with us on today. And so, when we look at Matthew 14:28, because that's where we want to start at. Look at what it says. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water. Now you got to look at this. You got to look at this text because in the Greek, it doesn't say the very thing that you think it says in the King James or the New King James. Basically, what Peter says, because it says here, if it's you, in the original language, Peter says, since it's you. Now you got to look at this. Oh, you got to look at this. You got to remember these people in this boat are scared to death. They see this apparition that's walking on the water. They scream. Jesus says, be of good cheer. It is I. Don't be afraid. So he speaks to them. And you know, everybody got a Peter. There's a Peter somewhere. And he says, since it's you, command me to come out on the water with you. And so this is a courageous move. Peter says, since it's you, okay, that's right. That's right, Nina. Since it's you, let me come out on the water. And so we start out great. Peter starts out great. Peter starts out like, yeah, this is cool. I'm out here. And you got to remember, we don't know the distance that exists between Jesus and the boat. Okay. It could have been a couple of feet. It could have been 40 feet, 50, whatever it was. It was still within earshot so that the disciples could hear the voice of Jesus. And Peter says, since it's you, let me come out on the water. And look at what Jesus does. In a simplistic manner, come. He says, command me, cause me, since it's you, to come to you on the water. Look at what Peter is saying. And maybe you've never seen this, or maybe you've never looked at this. The one thing that they teach us in the school of theology is that you look at the text and you look at it again 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 and you look at it again, because one superficial observation will not exactly give you the correct theological understanding of what the word of the Lord is actually trying to say. And that's why you've got to allow the word to soak and sink down in your spirit, along with your own exegetical study, so you can make sure that you are doing things within the appropriate context and you are exegeting and not eisegeting. Okay? And so it says here, I know that was a whole lot of theological jargon, but there's a few of y'all out there that know what I'm talking about. The amazing thing about this was Peter now no longer cares about the rest of them in the boat. Peter is concerned about approaching Jesus. Now you got to catch this, while the storm is still raging. Now, if there is not a powerful theological presupposition that can be found in this, is that at that particular time, Peter had enough faith by the word of the Lord, Elder James, by the word of the Lord, to not ask for the storm to stop, but allow me to come to you while the storm is raging. How many of us have that level of courageousness? Because you got to remember, Peter ain't scared of nobody. Hey, Yana, how are you? Peter is the bodacious. He is the obnoxious. He is the unrestrained. Whatever comes in Peter's head comes out his mouth. Peter is that kind of person. And Peter now says, since it's you, now you got to look at the text. I'm not stepping out until you permit me to do that. That's a powerful statement right there, because how many of us have stepped into the storm without permission? How many of us have decided that I can navigate this myself without seeking the Lord's advice and guidance and permission? Oh, I know I'm dealing with it today. This is not a shouting message right here. Victor, bless you, my friend. And so what you've got to recognize is that Peter is showing us something that we ought to have when our storms are raging and God decides to allow the storm to rage, and see, are you willing to trust him in the storm and not just trust him to still the storm or quiet the storm or bring the storm back under control? Oh, Nina, am I teaching? Am I teaching? Am I teaching y'all today? I need to know, because I'm feeling something in my spirit. You've got to catch this, because in the midst of this, we superficially go over this and we don't really look at the full context of what's happening here. Peter has now abandoned his fear and is now walking in faith. I'm about to shout. I'm about to shout. He's walking in faith because, okay, he is now focused. And see, my thing is, if you plan on doing anything that God would have you to do, the first thing you better remember is how to stay focused. Can you put it in the chat? Put it in the chat if you don't mind. Learn to stay focused, because too many of us are sidetracked by other things and other. It's in the text. It's in the text. Oh my God. It's in the text. I want y'all to see this. It's in the text. He says here, come. And Peter gets out of the boat. Now, for many of us, we think that the storm is not still raging. We think that everything is calm. No, Peter steps out. Peter steps out of a rocking, rolling, wind blowing, lightning flashing, thunder rolling boat. And he gets out on the water and begins to walk toward Jesus. But the problem is, in the midst of his walking, a distraction showed up. Gail, I wish I had 5 people. I wish I had 5 people that can catch this, because this is what the enemy does. Even when you are on your way to victory, when you are on your way to deliverance, when you are on your way to healing, when you are on your way to being set free, guess what happens? And you can't blame every distraction on the devil. Ooh, I know y'all don't like me now, because we always want to blame them. The devil made me do it. You know, that's that Flip Wilson. The devil made me do it. The devil did this. The devil did that. The devil. But sometimes it ain't the devil. It's the devil in you. It's the devil in me. Because here's what happens. You got to look at the text. Here's what happens, because this is a powerful text, and I pray that you can get it, because I'm just about out of time. He says he walked out on the water to go to Jesus. Ida, bless you for being here. But when? So between Peter's focus on Jesus, Peter's ability to walk on stormy seas toward Jesus, he began to become distracted. And in the midst of becoming distracted, he began to notice what he didn't pay attention to in the beginning, because the circumstance had not changed. Oh, Stephanie, I wish I had 10 people that's catching this. You got to get this. Nothing had changed. The storm was still the storm. The lightning was still the lightning. Everything was just as it had always been, but Peter's laser focus allowed him to look past the present problem and see the solution. And in the midst of that, he gets distracted because the text says, and when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he got scared. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do you see the wind? I'm going to let that marinate for just a second. How do you see the wind? The text says, and when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he got scared. He became afraid. See, and we say this all the time, and we say this consistently. Faith and fear cannot occupy the same place at the same time. One or the other is going to rule. Can I ask y'all a question? Which one's ruling you right now? Yeah. How does he see the wind? Well, let me give you my interpretation of what he saw. He saw what was in the wind, which caused him to recognize that the wind was boisterous. Now I'm getting ready to mess y'all up, and I got to get out of here. I got 2 more minutes. I got to go. It's not that the water was not blowing in his face. It was not that the wind stopped blowing. Everything was still there until he paid more attention to the manifestation of that which was occupied in the wind, rather than him staying focused on the one who can control the wind. I gotta go. I gotta let y'all go. When we come back tomorrow, I'm going to continue this theological discussion to help us to understand something. And what I need us to see, and what I need us to grasp, what I need us to see, every one of us will deal with our storms. The key is to not let the storm deal with you. Okay? And so what I want to do is just kind of share that with you, and to let you know that our God is able to do, but he can only do when you're paying attention to what he's doing. Iris, this is so important. You got to get this. You got to understand this. It's got to be a part of your life. It's got to be a part of how you live. At 6:30, will be midweek. I'll be looking for you, and share the word, share the word, share the word, share the word, share the word. We are looking so forward to seeing you there, and you got to know that. Please, my brothers and sisters, I'm gonna say this. This is the news. This is the weather forecast. There's a storm coming, and it's going to be horrific. Be prepared for the unexpected. See, this is what happens. If you stay focused, you'll weather the storm. If you become distracted, the storm will weather you. I got to go. 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 Listen, y'all be blessed. Until I see you at 6:30 tonight, may God bless you. May he keep you. Is our prayer. Birthday girl, we know why you late, because you out there celebrating, because today is your birthday. I got to go. See y'all.